Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode number 3 of the comeback series. It is Sunday morning once again, latest start on the Sunday as per normal. Out here getting our steps in for the start of the week. Already been down to the supermarket, got some heads of lettuce. I've been getting a lot of the local lettuce here in Bendigo just because it's so bloody fresh and it's in season at the moment, so been giving that an absolute hiding. At the moment, we're working our way through these steps before we jump into what is the Sunday ritual of supermarket, meal prepping, the full works, bit of programming later on today. So I'll take you guys through some of that, especially some of the meal prepping stuff, as I think that would be pretty handy. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, big week ahead of training, hopefully. Okay, so we have the steaks cooking in the background. You guys would have seen that we've got our chicken, pumpkin and spud light all in the oven at the moment. So usually on Sundays I spend probably about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at most, groceries and getting all this stuff cooked. I usually cook 8 meals. I've started experimenting doing 8 meals. I used to always do 6. But now I'm doing 8 meals and then sort of freezing half of them for the second half of the week, and then that sort of flows on. I've always got some meals then if I go out for food or whatever, at least I've got some left over. So that's been the system. So this week we're doing like rump steak, kangaroo steak and kangaroo burgers for dinners, and then lunches are always consistent with the chicken salad. So that's been the strategy, and it's pretty much been like that for, a good 12 months now, always doing some sort of red meat realistically for dinner, and then sort of the chicken salad type thing for lunch. So the spud light is actually with lunch, so there's a little bit of carb in there. But yeah, that's the main strategy when it comes to what the meal prep looks like on a Sunday. We'll keep cooking this stuff up and yeah, come along for the ride. Okay, so the way I'm going to divide this up over the 8 meals will be effectively half of one of these each night, and then I'll split these 6 steaks up and get about 200 grams out of each one. So that'll be, again, sort of just probably maybe that much each night when you cut it all down. And then out of these burgers here, 4 of them are actually for tonight, and then because I'm just going to do something different tonight with some leftover bread that I've got, and then I'm just going to do 1 burger for each meal. So that's going to be the way this all gets divided, and then it's kind of like a little bit of like a mixed grill type of thing every night. And I have that with a big, like half of the Kent pumpkin that you guys saw me cutting up, and then I have that with some iceberg salad as well that I was talking about this morning. So that is the play, and that's how this week's going to look, and pretty much every week looks pretty much the same as this, or something, only a slight variation depending on what meats we do. It's been all steak in the past, it's been all kangaroo. This week's a bit of a mixture. So here we have the aftermath of putting it all together. So we've got our kangaroo steak, which weighed out at about 76 grams per serving. Then we've got our rump steak at about 145 grams per serving. And then we've got our 1 kangaroo burger. So that's all the dinners with the Kent pumpkin as well. I had to get a butter pumpkin for these 2 off the end here. And then for the lunches, we've got our spud light and chicken breasts as well. So there's, I don't know, like just 1 serve of spud light per box. And then for the chicken, I've got probably about 1 whole chicken breast and about 1/3 of a chicken breast per box, because I ended up getting a little bit more chicken breast today when I was at the supermarket. So that's how it all comes together. We've got 8 dinners and we've got our 8 lunches. So that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that is squat day number 1 for the week in the books. Really happy with today's session, actually. Wasn't expecting it. Went up to 195 for my 3x3, and to be frank with you, it's probably the best that I've felt under a squat bar in the solid 6 months. So that was really good, even though the weight was, in all, grand scheme of things pretty light, 195 for 3x3, but really happy with how it moved. So hopefully that prepares me well for Wednesday's sort of, I guess you'll call it like primary squat session. And I can hit, my 2x2 at 220 kilo and finally load, 4 reds aside, which would be nice for the confidence. But yeah, really happy with today. Then when it came to the accessories, I had an absolute shit show with how I had to order things, just because machines were taken up. So I ended up having to do my belt squats right at the end, which meant I accumulated a shitload of fatigue before I even got there. So I was absolutely cooked by the time I got to them, but I pushed them really, really hard nevertheless, and actually did a couple of cheeky extra reps than I was otherwise prescribed. So really made sure of it. Hopefully it doesn't come back to bite me in 2 days' time when I get underneath the squat bar again. But yeah, really happy with today's session. The hill climb is going well, and yeah, we can reconvene for tomorrow's session. I'm sorry I didn't film much of my accessories today, but yeah, as I said, absolute shit show. So anyway, we soldier on. As expected. 4th set. It's the 4th set. It's always going to be good. this set. One of the most favourite sets. Today is bench day number 1 for the week. We've done our 6 sets of 3 at 145 kilo, which was a 2.5 kilo jump from last week. Worked out really well, because if you recall, last week we were on the shitter bench that I'm really not happy with using, and we're on the bad plates and the bad bar. So it was a little bit more challenging last week. So this week actually felt far easier, even though it was 2.5 kilos up, which I'm never going to complain about. Then we've been smashing through our accessories. So we've done some dumbbell pressing, done some back work, done some rear delt work. Now it's time to get into some triceps, a little bit more back stuff. Then we'll get into some arms as well. So still plenty on the agenda for today, but today has been a win already, which I'm really happy with. Yeah, let's jump back into it and finish out the rest of today's benching. So okay, as you guys would have seen, we've just done 220 kilos for our 2 sets of 2, finally up, back and over the 220 kilo mark, which I'm very happy with. Hips are feeling phenomenal. I'm doing all these little accessories to really try and build up the hips. I'm actually going to make that sort of the main focus of probably the next vlog, to show you guys all the little accessories that we are doing to get healthy and stay healthy while squatting again and deadlifting, because I was flaring up on deadlifts too. But yeah, then today we've hit some really hard pendulum squats, really hard quad extensions and hamstring curls. And another thing I was really happy with was my 2 sets of 4 pause squats. So working those back in after last week's thought experiment, giving them a run. So really happy with how they felt again this week. Felt even better than last week. It is only still light, but the technique is what we care about for those ones. So really happy with today's progress. Just finishing up now. Good morning, guys. We are out here getting our steps as per normal, knocking off another 6.5K in the morning before sunrise, which is always good fun. Just thought I'd jump on here and have a bit of a reflection about yesterday's squat day. I know I sort of quickly rushed through it there while I was in the gym, but in all honesty, it's really good to get 3 really positive sessions in a row for my lower body training. It's been something that I haven't really had since probably this time last year. And even this time last year, I was facing a hell of a lot of issues with the lower body already. And I was starting to get a lot of little back niggles and things like that when I was first cutting down. So it's been a real awakening sort of moment over the last couple of weeks while I've been having a bit of a look at not only my training, but also my nutrition as well. And realizing that I actually need some calories to actually perform. Because there was a long time there for a while where I was really eating stuff all, and that was pretty well leading to a lot of this injury that I was experiencing. So really happy with being able to start to string a few sessions together, and I think a lot of that is because I am actually eating and fueling for performance again and actually recovering. Like even now I feel fantastic and I'm training lower body 3 days a week, so really happy with how it's all coming together. Just wanted to jump on and have a bit of reflection about that. I'll end up talking more about it and the strategies that I am adopting to get there. But yeah, just wanted to flag that this is how I'm feeling. And onwards to today, which is 8 sets of 2. And hopefully we go all right on that. So stay tuned. Over a year ago, maybe 2. Okay, it is deadlift day today, and today's a big day. We're going in to hit 3x3 at 220 kilo, which is not a heavy weight, but really big for the mentals to be finally able to load 220 kilos again on the deadlift. So really looking forward to it. I'll join you guys when I'm in there. But yeah, it's been a really big build up to this. So looking forward to getting in. Just look at this. Finally, we're here with 220 kilo loaded on the deadlift bar. It's been a long time coming, but we've got there. Only another step, but a step in the right direction nevertheless. Oh, time to lift it. Time to lift it. successfully completed our 3x3 on 220, and we did it in the space of 6 minutes, which is pretty handy, to be honest. It frees up a bit of time. So I moved really well, feeling really good. Technique's feeling much more dialed in. All of the muscles are starting to fire in the correct order. And I'm feeling like I've earning my deadlift back. Session by session, only doing the 5 kilo jumps. We're making up a lot of the volume with this accessory work. So I'll show you guys some accessory work that I've got planned for today. And a lot of it is to make up for the fact that we aren't doing a lot of deadlift volume per se. So we've got some RDLs to do. We've got some barbell shrugs to do. We've got some, actual barbell rows to do as well. Plus a whole bunch of back extension work, direct hamstring work, as well as some ab work in there as well. So plenty of still posterior chain volume and accessory volume to be done. But that's how we're making up a lot of our actual, volume that we need to make the adaptation instead of making it up on the main lift. So there is methods, there are things and workarounds, and this is all a part of the sort of hip lower back rehab program thingy that I'm doing and trying to work in with, what works best for me. So anyway, I'll keep on keeping on. I'll show you guys what these accessories look like. We absolutely start to tear through them. If you think 3x3 in 6 minutes is quick, it's about to get a whole lot quicker. And I'm using these hip flexor pulls to build up the hip flexor strength, and they've actually been really important with my rehab. I realized that I had some pretty shitty hip flexors, and they actually used to flare up for probably about 2 years during my squats, and it resulted in the back injury that nearly screwed me out of nationals in 2024 that I pretty much hobbled through as a result of. And it was sort of discovered through that process, and I didn't really address it when I should have. And then I stuffed around and tried loading it again, and I just kept getting these hip flexor lower back pulls as a result. So this is a part of my rehab protocol that I'm working in towards the back end of every session. And I'm also doing a whole bunch of other stuff as well, which I'm going to show you. So I'm doing these isometrics, like 6 to 10 second holds on the adductor machine, and I'm doing it in an isometric hold, sort of the same spot that I would normally do for, say, a squat. So that way I'm being able to cue myself and build strength in the position of a squat, and isometrically holding that position. So that's really what's enabling my squat and deadlift to come back in the manner that it is. It's not necessarily the squatting and the deadlifting that's bringing him back. It's all this other little stuff that I'm doing that's really building up this capacity again. So anyway, I'll show you guys what these hip adductor, abductor, isometric holds look like. The sets go on forever and a day, but they're really helpful and I'm getting a lot of benefit out of them. So I'll show you what that looks like now. seconds. And this is one of them that sort of, I've really benefited from being able to get a nice stretch on the hip flexors, especially after doing deadlifts and squats. Now that I'm back doing those, it actually feels really nice to get a good hip flexor stretch going and load through the abs while getting that stretch. So I'm really focusing on getting the plate up and over the head while I'm doing the crunching movement. And I'm really trying to focus on keeping the tension still in the abs. So you can see I'm kind of cutting the rep slightly short, but that's just because I'm finding the tension point of where I'm feeling really tight still. And I'm staying right there and not going beyond that tension point. So that's been the aim of the game with these ones. So feeling really good, and I've already done some of the, you guys saw the hip flexor work on the floor. I've done some glute here, the adducting machine, and doing those iso holds. So you would have seen when I was doing those, I was doing this iso hold for 6 to 10 seconds on where I normally squat, and that's really what's building those the abductors. And then I'm actually deprioritizing the adductor work a little bit. I'm still hitting it, I'm still balancing it out, but I'm not doing any real isometrics or anything with those. I'm sort of doing more of a traditional adduction, and I'm just going sort of a slow tempo on those. So that's feeling like a really good combo. It's a winning combo. I've been doing it the last, say, 3 weeks, and everything's felt really nice and really comfortable. And I've been hitting them like 3 times a week, so I'm going really hard on it as well. So anyway, that's pretty well this session done, I think. I'm going to get one more set of abs here and then that'll do me. It's been a really productive session. And there's a lot of volume in this session, but I think that's kind of what's needed for something like this. I'm only doing 2 sets per exercise. I'm not doing 3, I'm not doing 4, just keeping it to 2. So there's a lot of variety, which is good, I think, from an injury management standpoint. And hopefully that all works out well. Long term, we'll just keep compounding these sessions while they're working. So that was it for me for today, then. Okay, good morning, guys. It is Saturday morning. We're loading up our bench press to get things kicked off here. Saturday mornings, as you guys heard last week, have not really been going too well for me. I've been feeling pretty shit on these sessions. And that's usually because I'm coming off an 8K walk. I'm doing it fasted. And I'm doing it in the morning after having deadlifted only, the other side of me sleeping. So I feel pretty cooked by this time of the week. All of those compounding variables are not fantastic. So I have got my hydration this morning, going to try and keep hydrating throughout the session. But realistically, this is just a touch point type bench session. I'm going to go up thinking around the 142.5 mark, which is a 2.5 kilo jump on last week, which is typically how I like to progress my bench if I can. And that's the sort of progression that I'm adopting. So anyway, we'll see how this goes. I don't hold a lot of faith, but it'll be a session nevertheless. My forearms are pretty cooked after yesterday's grip work as well. So yeah, a lot of good factors going on here, but I think we'll be right. rehabilitation sort of stuff in this video as well. We talked about all the hip rehab stuff. I'll focus more on that in the next one as well to show you some of the other stuff that I'm doing. But really good week of training. Thank you guys for joining in on the journey. It's been another long vlog this week. I have to turn my mind to how next week looks. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. That's all for this week. Stay tuned for the next.